Don't stop.
Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. I am your host, Zach Randalls-Friedman, and I'm going to tell you about my guest in just a moment. But before I do, I'm going to tell you what I have been up to at home for this summer. I decided I have this yard that's very awkward. It's like 3-level yard. And I'll tell you what that means. Like, you have the first level where there's like a little bit of a yard in the front. And then you have a second level, which is, so the first level of my house is a garage, and the second level is 3 bedrooms. And then outside my bedroom, there's a sliding glass door, and there's like a small yard there. Like, not a lot of grass, there's a lot of stone. And so, but yeah, so that's there. And then you go to the second floor, and the second floor is the kitchen, dining room, and living room. And then you go out the doors there, and there's a bigger backyard and big boulders out there. And yeah, it's a weird yard. And then there's a third floor that I have where my podcast studio is, in this other office thing in a bedroom. And then, but if you go up these stairs in my backyard, it takes you to even another yard. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 yards that I have to maintain and mow. And it's fine. Like, I was going to hire somebody, but it was like $200 a week to have somebody, or $180 to have somebody come and like mow these yards. And I don't even know how you would get a lawnmower up to these. I think, because I have to use I think they call it a weed eater. Like, it's a handheld thing where you have to go through. I do my whole yard with that because I can't like pull a big lawnmower upstairs and then bring a lawnmower through my house and stuff. So like, yeah, it's not possible. But I do love like the outdoors. I enjoy mowing the yard when it's not so hot. I enjoy taking care of when we owned our house, I did so many flowers. I planted peach trees in the front yard, these 2 big peach trees. We had roses everywhere. I did flowers every summer coming up the sidewalk to get to the front door. The whole front porch of our house just had tons of flowers and stuff. It was so nice and beautiful. And I don't know, I love doing outdoor stuff. I had a beautiful garden at my other house too. I had our land guy, his name was Hayden. Hayden was so hot, like super hot. And he came over and built me he would mow the yard because I didn't mow the yard. But he came over and built this like garden that had wiring up like 6 feet. So, and then like squirrels and stuff couldn't necessarily get in it, or rabbits maybe. I guess the squirrels could still get in it because they could climb, but the rabbits weren't in there. I don't know. I feel like nothing ever ate the garden because of the way he built this thing. And it was really kind of, it had a little door to go in. And it felt like a like greenhouse, but with no roof in a way. So anyway, I loved having that. And so at this house, since I'm renting it, I want a pretty yard and I like doing things like that. So I went and I bought like a bunch of rose bushes this past week and some other plants and flowers, and I'm planting them outside, and it's nice. The weather was good. It wasn't too hot and humid, and it was just kind of nice. And then the rose bushes that I planted last year, the year before, those have started blooming now. And it was, I don't know, I love having it. And I was going to do a garden here. I'm just not going to invest in like building this, raised garden bed, because I can't do a regular garden because we have a whole animal kingdom in our backyard. We have 2 groundhogs that are always out there. We have 4 rabbits in our backyard because we throw out any vegetables that have like maybe turned or whatever, or getting ready to turn. We throw them out and they're gone the next morning. And we have a camera out back, and so we can see what's eating it. We have a possum. We have tons of birds because I feed the birds seeds every morning, and I have the bird buddy so I can watch the birds and the camera go get the food. We have lots of squirrels. We have chipmunks. We had raccoons, but I think they moved out. Thank God, because there was like a whole family of them. They'd come and like eat everything. And there was something else we have. I don't know. That's a lot though. That's a lot for like a house in the city with a backyard. Like there's a whole little animal kingdom. And so I'm not doing an outdoor garden, but for Christmas, my mom bought me this thing called the garden, and it's an indoor garden where you put these pots. It's got like three pipes kind of going up, and you put water in it, and it does automatic lights for sunlight, and then it waters them, and it's on an app, and you can there's a camera that you can see how your plants are doing. Or I think the people that are actually part of this app, they look at your plants because they send me recommendations saying, oh, this plant looks like it's dying, you need to cut it back or whatever. So I think maybe there's somebody monitoring this. And I liked it. And I think I had 20 vegetables and flowers growing. And then I forgot to fill it up with water. And then, I don't know, they started not looking so good. And nothing really, one thing grew was this weird kale plant, but it was not kale. I don't know. It was it didn't taste good. And I tried, a sunflower started to come out and nope, didn't work. So it was kind of a waste of money in a way, but I'm going to try it again. I'm going to take all the little pods out, clean the water thing out, start over and try to grow some plants. Maybe I'll do that in the fall because I have my outdoor garden. Then I'll have that for my indoor garden for the fall and winter. So anyway, if you have thought about doing one of those garden things, try it. But they're $400 or $500. So I don't know. I feel like I didn't get my money's worth. I haven't had one vegetable that's come out of it yet. And I thought it'd be cool. On the website and on the videos I see, they're people are oh yeah, I just got a whole salad off of my garden, and not me. I've got nothing. I feel like there's some weeds growing in it, but other than that, there's nothing. But that's my garden story. I do have a lot of plants in my house, though. I have no more plants. I'm not buying anymore, but I have so many plants, and it takes me a long time to water them, 45 minutes to water all my plants once a week. So I have some plants that were so small. I had this aloe that was tiny, tiny aloe, and now it's huge. And yeah, I love indoor plants, and I love gardening and stuff like that. All right, let's talk about my guest. My guest today, his name is Nic. He has got a song called Sex Tape. I think he's super talented. I really, really liked him. I liked him as a person. I watched some of his videos. I have listened to his music. I think he's great. He was a good interview. I'd have him back on anytime. I think he's going to become something big. And he's just young now, and he's making his way through LA, and something's going to happen with him big. I can feel it. So, Nic, you heard it here. Whenever you get your first Grammy, you got to come back. And I think we talked about this in the show maybe. I think I'm going to go to the Grammys with him, and he's going to dedicate the Grammy to me. I think that's what he said, something like that. Anyway, enjoy my episode with Nic Dantes. Thanks for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything in a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I have a brand new guest who you have not met. His name is Nic Dantes. He is currently in Chicago, but he lives in New York. He lives in LA. He's kind of all around the country, so depending on his job. So welcome to the show, Nic.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Nic, you have an IMDB page, first of all, because I looked you up. Which I think
Yes, I do.
I think it's always cool when somebody has an IMDB page. And you are a dancer, a singer, an actor. What else?
Songwriter. Content creator, whatever. I'm just trying to throw everything out there and see what sticks.
Good for you. So I also noticed in your IMDb page, I know we're going to talk about when you were in Law & Order recently.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about you were on What Should I Do?
Yes. The Hidden Camera TV show, yes.
So tell me about that, because I think that's interesting.
You know what? It's so funny that you bring that up, because that was a bucket list for me. When I got the initial audition, I've always wanted to do hidden camera. I've seen all the clips on YouTube for the longest time. And I think I would, as an actor, I was always like, how do they do it? What's the secret? How many times, do they have to do the takes? How are they hearing what they have to say? And so it was a really, really awesome and cool experience. And I actually did play a gay teen. That was literally the name of my role, which was amazing. But it was one of those situations where you have this sort of, I think his role was literally named Bigot.
Okay.
sort of attack me and my other friend as I'm coming out to him. And then they switched the guy to be my boyfriend midway through to see how people would react.
And were people like sticking up for you wherever you were
Yes.
at?
Thank goodness we were in New Jersey. So I was like, thank God. And it was Pride
Yeah.
Month. So
And you
I
never
was
know what
like,
you're going to get in New Jersey. So
right,
who
that
knows?
is true. That is true. But I was like, if you guys aren't going to stand up for me right now, like during Pride Month, what are we doing? That's an issue. But no, yeah, everyone was actually very, very responsive and great. But it was definitely an awesome experience, and it was cool.
Awesome. That's great. How was it doing Law and Order?
Law and Order. Well, first of all, that is something that like it's an iconic TV show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I initially when I sent in my tape, I sent in a tape and then I did a Zoom callback and then ended up booking it from there. It didn't really hit me the sort of weight of what I was stepping into until I got on set and I'm with the other iconic cast members and everything
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh wow, like this is a moment for me and I have to really, prepare and whatnot." But everyone was super super sweet and super kind and I feel like I learned so much through that experience and I'm just grateful now that I'm able to say that I've been on the same TV show as Sabrina Carpenter. So yeah.
That's awesome. Whenever you go to Broadway, I don't know how often you go to see Broadway shows,
Jealous.
but whenever you go to Broadway, and if you look at what every Broadway star, they've been in Law and Order, every single one of them most. So throughout their career, whether they were just starting off or they were in between gigs, they always have been in Law and Order. So you have like good company of Broadway stars.
I'm like, I'm doing something right.
Yeah,
The rite of
exactly.
passage. So
And we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. So tell me what it was like coming out in this industry, even though this industry is a lot more accepting than other industries that you could work in. So like if you're an investment banker, maybe they wouldn't be so
right.
open arms about you being gay. But what was this industry like? And was there any challenges ever?
Definitely. I started out when I was very young. And so I always knew that I was gay. I know it's different for other people, but something that I faced early on was, I'd be going out for roles on, kids' TV shows, and the roles that they would have me go out for were these, little suave little boys who are, trying to rizz up the girl and whatever. And I remember feeling so insecure because the whole time it was like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out that I'm gay. At the time I was 10 years old. And it's like, this little boy is so afraid of, being found out by people, because I couldn't play straight, as a child, which is crazy. And so that was something that always really weighed heavily on me. And it wasn't until, I went through puberty and I felt like that little kid facade sort of went away and I felt totally exposed. My voice drops. I know sometimes people say, gay voice and whatnot. So I felt like, I just felt totally exposed. And it was really interesting sort of figuring out my path and where I fit in exactly. Because I would get called for gay roles, but I, still get called out for straight roles, guys who have girlfriends and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was always, even yesterday, I filmed something with a straight role with he had a girlfriend and whatnot. And it's just really interesting sort of figuring out, how I fit into the parts that people are writing, And so thankfully, I think we're entering a more accepting place of you film and TV and, on stage of seeing that sort of representation of gay people, bi people, whatever. I feel like people are starting to care less. But at the same time, I definitely felt that sort of weight of, wanting to be something that I'm not and sort of that pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you could choose though between doing TV or possibly a movie, do you have a preference? Because you haven't done a movie quite yet, have you?
Not done a movie. And so I kind of want to say a movie, I think it's the fun thing about TV is, I've done co-star, guest star roles where I just come on for the episode and then I leave.
Yeah.
But I really, really would love to be able to have that 3-month long process of being on set and getting to know the cast and the crew and making one sort of feature length film.
Or would you want to be on a series? Like if you had to pick between a
Ooh.
movie or a series, which one would you pick?
You know what? I think series because I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
And I think it's always fun seeing the evolution of characters throughout a series, and whether it's like 2 years or 5 years. I'm
Yeah.
just finishing Hacks. I don't know if you watch Hacks, but
I did. I watched the first 2 seasons. I haven't
the
done.
final
I'm watching
season.
Euphoria right now. I don't know
Okay,
if you
I
watch.
still need to watch that one. I haven't watched this last season, but I've watched everything else.
And you
Yeah.
want to talk about actors that that have grown, like, I mean, they started off in high school and now it's like really post high school, and just how the characters have grown. So I haven't watched the last episode that just came out, but it's such a phenomenal season. So
See, and I'm
I think
waiting for it all to be out so I don't have to wait each week.
yeah, it's been tough waiting between weeks. So, so tell me about your latest song, Know My Name, Act
Yes.
2. It's out now. How does it feel to have kind of this full picture out in the world after Act 1? It would kind of set the stage for you.
It feels so exciting. First of all, I'm very, very proud because I like to label myself as a self-made pop star. I'm an independent artist, so I don't have, a whole team behind me,
Yeah.
telling me what to do and when to do it. And so this journey started. My first EP, Know My Name, Act 1, came out in 2023. And so 2026, here we are. It's the second installation. So I'm very excited. I feel like I've been able to grow a lot more as a songwriter. And this EP, I talk a lot more about personal topics and sort of more mature topics. And I'm just very, very grateful and excited for people to be able to hear it and get to see people resonating with what I put out. Has also been really eye-opening and cool.
Yeah, so you're talking about your queer identity, your kind of your self-worth, growing up in this digital age. Like, was any of that, was it pretty easy to kind of come up with these lyrics for the song?
You know what? It was very, very easy. The hard thing was putting it out.
Yeah.
The truth was, my song Sex Tape, it's the first track on the EP. I was never actually going to put that out because it was just so personal and so intimate and vulnerable. And I actually wrote that song as a sort of a diary entry. I even talked to my therapist at the time about it, just wanting to feel worthy of love. That's a very universal feeling.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put it into a song. And I had no intentions of releasing it. I remember writing the first verse. It goes, I want to make a sex tape to show you I'm good in bed, post it on the internet, then say that I never meant to. And I was like, ooh, that's a bar.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm never putting it out. Great. It'll live in my notes app forever. And it wasn't until I actually showed my brother over the phone and he was like, you have to put that out and you have to call it sex tape. And I'm like, no way am I doing that. I'm not putting out a song called Sex Tape. But you know what? Here we are. We are.
And it's out to the world.
And thank God.
And how did you come out to your family? And were they all accepting of it?
Of the song?
No, of you coming out.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I am very, 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 very grateful to have supportive parents and family and friends who accept me as I am, as they should. But it was something that I think everyone knew. I mean, I never really had to come out, which I'm very, very lucky. And I understand that that's such a, coming from a place of privilege. But I do remember my mother asking me, it was a high school dance, and she was wondering whether I was going to take this girl who was like my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And she goes, Nick, I have a question. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you like girls? And I was like, no. And she goes, oh, thank God. And I'll never forget that. So after that, though, I felt like such a, burden was off my shoulders. It's something, it's so interesting. It's like, I knew I was gay. My whole family knew I was gay. All my friends knew I was gay.
Yeah.
It was sort of this like invisible wall that once it came down, it felt so freeing. And, I think about people who aren't out of the closet, and who are on their own journeys. And I just think it's so special to let people know that they have such an open community ready to welcome them with open arms, because it's awesome being a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
It is. And on like on Instagram and stuff, whenever you're putting out your music and stuff and people know that you're gay, do you ever get any DMs from people kind of like asking questions because they haven't come out, or just asking advice on how to come out, or I don't know, flirting? Do you get any? Have you got any like dick pics in
Oh,
your DMs?
oh
Like
my
any of the,
goodness. Well, I get all sorts of things. And but one of the things for sure that I think is really special is, I'll be on live on TikTok or whatever, and someone will comment, I'm thinking about coming out to my parents, do you have any advice? Or someone will DM me saying that they sort of, relate to my music as a gay person and everything. And that stuff means so much to me. I
Yeah.
like to say that I want to be the kind of artist that I wish I had growing up. You know what I mean? And so getting to be that for other people has been really, really special and cool. And so, yeah,
Awesome. So you trained at Joffrey Ballet.
I did. Yes.
So, I mean, that's pretty big. So what? I mean, are you are you doing anything with ballet with what you were trained in, or I've seen some of your videos where there was some ballet and stuff on it, but like, what are you doing with it?
Well, it's funny you say that, because that was sort of the period of my life where I stopped acting for a little bit and I went
Okay.
into dance. I actually dropped out of high school to train at the Joffrey, which was a crazy 9 to 5 program. I was taking the Metro in every day. I would wake up at 5:45 every morning, catch the 7:03 train, get there, walk a mile to State Street, dance for 6-7 hours, get home, shower, and do it all over again 5 days a week. And
Yeah.
it was one of the most hardest things that I've ever done in my entire life. But at the same time, I am so glad that I did it, because I learned so much. I learned so much about discipline and passion. And I knew at the time that I didn't want to be a ballet dancer, or I didn't want to end up dancing
Yeah.
professionally for a company. But at the same time, I knew that I was learning so much. And I also learned that ballet and dance in itself was something that would open so many other doors for me. And now I'll get, like, for example, Law and Order SVU, they were looking for a ballet dancer, TikTok star type
Yeah.
person. And so I was like, wait, hold on. I think I can do this one. And so now I find myself being able to take that sort of ballet out of my back pocket and
Yeah.
use it with everything today. And I love dance, and I'll always be a dancer. I think it's also something interesting about dance, and I have a lot of ex-dancer friends who don't do it as much, is um, it's a lot, to put on someone who's developing,
Mhm.
and so, as your body's changing and you're not sort of fitting into the boxes that, the ballet world or the contemporary world or the hip hop world want you to be in. It's sort of a second phase that I feel like I'm in right now, of like, who am I as a dancer, but not as a boxed in dancer, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
finding the joy again. But yeah.
So between Chicago, LA, and New York, if you had to pick one, where would you want to be?
Oh, that's really hard. I mean, so I think I spent the majority of my time within the past couple years in New York. New York will always have my heart. I think it's because, I'm a theater kid. And so getting
Yeah.
to be around Broadway and everything is so cool. But the culture in New York is just awesome. Being able to walk around everywhere is so cool. But at the same time, I actually spent last summer in LA getting to record the EP and film the music videos for the EP. And something about that place too was just super cool. I just felt so cool walking on the street and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of magic, I feel like, in every city, and of course Chicago is home. So
Yeah.
but I think New York. What about you?
Well, I have lived so many places, and I've moved 18 times in 27 years.
You're in Boston, right?
I'm in Boston now, but I lived in New York kind of on and off for 17 years. I grew up in Miami. I lived in Switzerland, Atlanta, Philly.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
wait.
I've lived a lot of places. So
Where did you live in New York, if you don't mind me asking?
I lived in Hell's Kitchen. I lived
Okay.
on the Upper East Side, and I lived in Park Slope.
All great places. Love.
Yeah. So I think I liked living in Hell's Kitchen the most, just because I was, when you go out, you'd like walk out your front door and everything's there. So.
No, exactly. It's like a wonderland. I love it.
But I don't think I could live in New York again because I have a real house now, and I can't go back to an 800 square foot apartment.
So fair. So
I
fair.
have too much adult furniture and an adult walk-in closet now, so I can't go back to.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I can't. I'm adulting now. Not. I mean, if I was a multi-billionaire or even 100-millionaire, I would go and live in New York. I think,
Of course,
or at least have a house there.
We'll get there. We'll get there
one day. Yes. So, kind of the same question around all the things that you're talented with. If you had to pick one, where's your heart at? Is it acting?
Gosh, I think music for sure. And I want to say that because I'm able to incorporate my singing and my acting, as I, play my own characters and as a pop star or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get to dance in my music videos. The truth is, I keep saying the truth is, I'm always dropping bombshells on this chat right now. But the truth is, I only started making music because I wasn't getting work in acting. And so I was at a place where I was like, well, I feel like I have, my own sort of talents that I feel like are worth sharing to the world, that I don't want to have other people feel like they need to give permission to me to do so. So let me do my thing and, see what comes up of it. I've always wanted to be a pop artist and a musician. So it just worked out that, that sort of, what's the word? Not resentment, but I don't know. I was pushed into making music, shall we say?
Yeah.
By destiny and fate.
Yeah. I have to ask you, what do you think about Madonna's new song that just came out?
I love it. Are you talking about? Also, I heard her one with Sabrina Carpenter. That one's so good.
Both of them, though. I feel so. I mean, I think they're both amazing. I
know you're a Madonna fan. I
am a big Madonna fan. She is my goal for this podcast to have her on as a. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be so intimidating, though. I don't know how I would do it. So, but I would.
No, I think you could do it. I think once you get past the initial starstruck, then you would do an amazing job.
Yeah, well, thank you. Let's see how it goes. I'm working my way up. She has a new album coming July 6th, so or July 3rd. So I'm hoping that I have some emails out there. I'm hoping that maybe she'll want to come on a little podcast and
send it out. The power of email. Out.
Exactly. And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. Can you tell my audience who knickknacks are?
Yes, the knickknacks. Oh my gosh. So knickknacks are sort of the dub name for my supporters. And that sort of came about after Sex Tape came out, funnily enough. But I started going on live more to sort of engage with my audience on social media. Mm-hmm. And people started being like, what's our name? We need a fandom name. We need a group name. And so at first it was Nick Nation, but obviously I'm not going to pick a name and be like, you guys have to call me this. Like y'all have to figure it out. But it was one day someone DMs me and they said, I'm a knickknack. And I was like, okay, that is the cutest thing ever. And funnily enough, my mom actually, that's her nickname for me ever since I was a baby. It was the knickknack.
Oh, that's interesting.
So she was like, I love it. Here we go.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. I take all the credits. No, but yeah, I'm very, very lucky and grateful to have my knickknacks by my side.
That's awesome. Can you walk me through like how you make a song? Like what's your process, your creative process?
Totally.
Like tell me because I know that some people will wake up in the middle of the night and write a note on a notebook on the side of their bed, or they use their notes apps in their phone, or they sit down and they're like, I'm going to be secluded for 2 weeks and I'm going to write this whole album. Like, what's your process?
That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. But what I've worked out, or what I've figured out works best for me, is I'm a huge concept person. Like, I love world building and I love having a set concept to write around. And so I have a whole list on my notes app of like potential concepts. And so, for example, Knight in Shining Armor was a concept that I've always wanted to write about. And so sometimes I'll go through my notes app and, see my potential concept lists. And I saw, oh, Knight in Shining Armor, I'd love to write a song about that. How can I, what can I write about? And then I sort of, go into my own brain of how I'm feeling. And so that song itself was actually about feeling alone, as a gay person, but also, as an independent artist, as someone trying to figure it out in the world. And then I'll start, going through melodies in my head. I'm a big melody person too. I feel like lyrics, funnily enough, come last. But I'll get a concept, then I'll find 4 chords, play them out, and hum some melodies, and then say what I'm feeling, and I'll write in the lyrics at the end. But yeah.
That's awesome. Is there a song that is on your act 2 that surprised you just on, like, it went a certain way that you didn't expect it to go, good or bad?
I mean, I'm going to say Sex Tape. I know we've talked about Sex Tape this entire time, but the truth is I had no idea how people were going to respond to it, especially as, a smaller artist. A lot of this is their people's first impression of me, is Nic Dantes' Sex Tape. And so I had no idea whether I was going to get only backlash or mixed reviews or only praise. I sort of was just also at a point in my life where I was like, I've been doing this for a while. Let me just make you look at me, and sort of write a song, because people are more likely to listen to a song called Sex Tape versus Worthy of Love, And so I'm playing the game in a way with that. And so I really had no idea. I just knew that I was terrified, but it was something that I really, really wanted to do. I wanted to push myself to be able to be that honest and open with my songwriting. But the initial reaction and having people sort of jump on board with it, was really, really exciting and cool. And I still get hate comments all the time, about like, what? Like, people being confused or like gay. We should talk about that, honestly.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I think it's so interesting how people will just comment gay. Like, okay, are you insulting me? Like, what is this?
So tell me what your post is. If they'll say, give me an example of a post, and then they'll just say gay.
It'll either be, promoting my music, or I have a viral video with my cousins, and where each new year we cut off the year. So we'll go like 2025, you've been cut off. And we've been doing it since 2014. And so basically it's a video that shows our progression for the past 11 years.
Oh, that's cool.
12 years. Yeah. It's like a sort of time capsule thing, but a lot of people have found it and have sort of like started following us from that. But one of the main comments that I'll get is just gay or like zesty. And I'm like, I think it's so interesting that like people feel the need to use sexuality as this sort of like whodunit mystery. You know what it means? Like, gay, I found you, gay. It's like, okay, and you know what I mean? Like,
so they're saying like your content is gay, and is that supposed to be an insult? Or they're saying like you're gay? Like, what does it even mean?
I don't know, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me. But at the same time, what bothers me, I think, is where does this stem from? It's like, and the majority of the time when I click on, someone's profile to see who commented it, it's always, someone who's younger, and that scares me, because it's like, well, who's teaching these kids, or where are we getting this, behavior from that is like, you're allowed to do that? And I don't know.
Well, I think this is what my guess is that they're probably trying to figure out who they are. And because usually the most homophobic people or the people making those comments are usually gay.
Right.
So they're probably just like, I mean, I'm really trying not to look at my. I've been told by so many people, don't look at your comments, don't look at your comments, and I'm doing better because as soon as somebody gives a bad comment, I clap back, and it's so bad because then it just keeps going, and then I won't let it stop until I win, and so I've stopped doing that. If I'm doing an interview though with a transgender person and somebody's talking shit about a transgender person, I will monitor the comments and I will block people for that
Right.
because I just don't, I can't accept it. Or if somebody comes in and goes, "Oh, I hope you two fags had a great conversation," then I wouldn't let that go either.
Yeah.
But the other comments are just, I just try not to even like look at them anymore. It just, they're so, because I look at their profile like you do sometimes and I'm like, you have 180 followers, you've done 2 posts, and you're following 9,000 people. So like you're doing this to everybody and you just made this profile just because you want to be a troll and you're probably like a fat, bald, 65-year-old man. So
it's sad. I think social media is so good for so many reasons, one of them being able to connect with people, but at the same time, it's opened up so many doors of just like people feeling like they can say whatever the hell they want and get away with it. You know what I mean? And I think it's really, really harmful. I feel like we need to have some sort of regulations or something. Not me trying to be like the police over here or whatever, but like for as awesome of a tool as it is to be able to connect, it's also really, really scary,
But how has it been helping promote who you are and your talents, though? I mean, social media must be huge for you because if you think about like 15 years ago, before social media was around, like how would you have become this popular?
I feel like I owe everything to posting on social media. You know what I mean? Like you said, like 15 years ago, it would have been me playing at every dive bar, pulling a Lady Gaga and, handing my tape to record execs on the street and whatever. But now in this day and age, it's me singing on live and posting videos every day of my songs and stuff. And thank goodness that, it's been made so much more accessible. At the same time, though, everyone has a camera on their phone and everyone, can make music now and everyone can post a video. And so I feel like the field in itself has become so much more saturated, which is also made it interesting with, the algorithm and everything. And what are people going to watch? People, like I said before, people are going to watch, a song called Sex Tape because that's like shocking, and sex sells. So it's sort of, the rules have definitely changed a little bit, but at the same time, the only way that you can adapt or survive in this industry is by adapting. You know what I mean? And then that goes with everything. But I do owe so much to social media, as much as I hate to admit. It's been my only tool, really.
I mean, that's how I think my podcast became popular for the same reason, because of social media.
I mean, I found you on social media, so it's working, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Have you heard of Vinyl by Mars?
I haven't. Wait, yes. What is that though? But I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's my nephew's Instagram, TikTok account where he does all this music stuff.
No way.
Yes. So
he's amazing.
So I'm going to put you in touch with him because I think he should talk with and interview you.
I love that.
Vinyl by Mars is his name on, I think, both TikTok and Instagram. He's cute guy. Goes and he's interviewed like Nick Jonas or the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, amazing.
He just was at the AMAs doing red carpet interviews and stuff. So he's really great. And I think that you guys should have a conversation. So I'm going to pass your name over to him. And he can.
Thank you.
He's always at the Spotify studios in New York doing something or another with them, interviewing somebody or something. So he'd be a good guy to know.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And shout out to my nephew, Vinyl by Mars. So follow him if you have.
Shout out.
I have a couple more questions for you. I want to know if you're dating anybody.
That is the question that everyone wants to know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not dating anyone. You guys, I'm single.
What is your type? Maybe here's the deal. I always want to matchmake on my show. And the only thing I say is, like, if I find somebody, if you end up marrying somebody that you find from this show, I just want to make a speech at the wedding. That's all I ask.
Please come to the wedding. Please.
So what is your type?
I don't know. And I'm being so honest when I say that. I feel like my dating history, I look at my exes or like even people that I've had like situationships with.
Yeah.
And they're all so different. But what I can tell, or, I'm sort of learning, what my type is, I guess. But someone who is kind.
Love that. That's
someone
the first
who's supportive. Obviously what I do is very, it takes a lot, I feel like, to handle someone in my position. So someone who's going to support me and be my cheerleader and someone who I can laugh with, I guess.
Yes.
But looks-wise, I'm telling you, it's been so many different kinds of people. Yeah. I mean, shout out to all my exes out there. Hey. But yeah, I guess I'm open.
All right. So this is the deal to all my listeners. If you're watching this as a video, then you know what Nic looks like, and you can tell who he is from his personality, I think, on this video. And if you're not, Google, if you're listening to this as an audio, Google Nic, and just, if you are interested, DM me. I will be taking applications for him. The Real Zachary is my Instagram. I will be taking applications, and just tell me why you think you deserve to go on a date with Nic. And if I agree, I will pass on your information and set you guys up on a date. And if it's I'll even pay for the date.
Oh, wow.
I would even pay for the date if it's the right guy. So,
this is amazing.
Free date. One night out, maybe when you're in New York or Chicago or even LA, I'll do any of them. I'll pay for the full date. Not an overnight stay somewhere, but I will pay for like the dinner and drinks. So,
wow, this is amazing. You guys, you heard it here first.
Yep.
The DMs are open.
DMs are now open for all applicants. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, and now back to the show. My last question is that if you could work with anybody, it's two questions really. If you could work with anyone that you wanted to, one, answer the question for doing a collab with singing, and the other one, who would you want to act with?
Okay. I have two answers for singing.
Okay, go for it.
I really want so Sabrina Carpenter, I've been an OG stan since her Girl Meets World days on Disney Channel. So that is someone that I feel like we would make a really, really fun song together with. But my other option would be any sort of K-pop group. I'm a dancer, so it's like, I want to dance with the girls, or I want to dance with the boys, like Cat's Eye or TXT or something, you know what I mean? So definitely either Sabrina Carpenter or a K-pop group. I'm open to anyone. I mean, if Mariah Carey wants to do a song with me, like, I will be down. But in terms of acting, I feel like it would be a dream to work with Jennifer Lawrence. I'm a big Jennifer.
I love her.
I really love her.
She's so funny too.
She's so funny, and she's so honest and
down
raw.
To earth. I think you would be friends with her, like after you acted with her. Like you guys are like going to be texting every other day, like once the work ends.
Jennifer Lawrence for sure. Yeah, I think those are my answers. I mean, I'll work with anyone. I'm like such a fanboy in real life. Like I'm such a fanboy. So even on Law and Order, I was like, hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my answers. Those are my answers.
I love it. Well, I will tag Sabrina and Jennifer Lawrence in this, and maybe, who knows? You never know.
You never know. You never know.
So we have wrapped up because first of all, we need to get Jennifer Lawrence and we need to get Sabrina Carpenter on Nic's schedule.
Yes, we do.
We also need to first find him a boyfriend that will soon be a husband that's supportive, funny, and kind.
Yes.
And then Jennifer Lawrence and Sabrina Carpenter can come to the wedding.
Oh, of course. Of course. So, it's all set. I love this.
Yeah. And again, I'm paying for the first date. But you really have to put in a good application. So DM me on Instagram and I will let you know, because I'm very picky. And I think, Nic, you deserve somebody really good, because I think you're an amazing person.
Thank you.
And if they don't pass, I will answer all DMs and I will tell you if you pass the test or not. But if you don't pass, then just quietly just say thank you and move on. No need to send me hate DMs for the rest of my
No
life.
hate, you guys. All love.
Exactly. Nic, I think you're amazing. I hope you come back on. I think that you are going to blow up very, very soon. You have such a good energy about yourself. You're a kind person, I can tell. And you have so many talents. I think you're also just going to have to maybe pick which of those talents you're going to really focus on, because not everybody has this many amazing talents like you do. And I listen to your music, and I don't say this to everybody, I really do like your music. So
Thank you.
I have interviewed people and I have listened to music, and I just have a talk with them like, great, good luck. I'll tell you, I really do like your music.
Thank you.
I just interviewed another artist last week she was on The Voice, and she's a country music artist. And I'm not usually into country music, but her name is Jordan Rayner, and she's an independent artist too. And she was on Reba's team on The Voice. And she is so talented and she's so amazing. And I love her music now too. So I'm getting all this new good music for the summer from you and her. So
I love it.
Well, thank you so much. I will put all of Nic's links in the description of this podcast or video, however you're listening to it. He's big on TikTok. He's big on Instagram. I'll put links to his music on Spotify and Apple and everywhere, so you can find Nic. And I'll even put his IMDB page so you can see
Why not?
He's done. We'll do it all. So it was a pleasure meeting you, Nic. Thank you so much for being on. And please, once you win that first Grammy or that first Oscar or Emmy or even Tony, because you may end up on Broadway,
who knows? Please
come back on and talk to me then.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
Thanks everybody for listening, and be sure to go check out Nic Dantes, all of his links. And thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with a new guest. Thanks everybody.